Good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I myself am doing pretty well, recording this on the weekend. Now, we are getting into our second raid of the Crystal Tower raid series, and I will be honest with you, this is not the most entertaining raid. It's pretty easy and it's pretty quick, but we're going to see if we can get something interesting out of it here in a second. I've got a hot cup of tea today, not coffee, and we'll see what we can do. So let's get into it. Alright, ladies and gents, here we are in the Syrcus Tower, our second raid of the tier of the series. This is at level 50, and we are going to go right up some stairs into this fight with some dragons, some serpent boys, and some ninjas. It's about as fantasy as you can get as a combo right there. These guys will get burst down pretty quick. Like I mentioned in the intro, this is going to go fairly quick. This is definitely the weakest of the Crystal Tower series, in my opinion. Other people may disagree with that, but I think it's pretty hard to argue. Now, on one hand, a lot of this is quote-unquote solved content. That being, it's so old now, people just kind of know how to do it. And, you know, it's not like you have a party full of new people, of like only new people or majority new people coming through these days. Which is not a bad thing, but it is something where if you are a new player, this one will especially feel very quick. But if you're playing a new role, you know, if you're a DPS that's going to heal or a tank that's going to heal or a DPS, I think that you will find this to be a very comfortable raid. A very good raid to just kind of learn and feel out a class. Because there isn't a whole lot of outgoing damage. There isn't a whole lot of things to be panicked about. As we get into Skilla here. Now, if I remember correctly, there is a raid-wide that insta-kills on this, but we will get to that later. So we've got this first little thing here, which are those orbs that will follow players. Just try and get out of the way. And if you see a player running with those next to you, get out of the way of those. If I remember correctly, those will hit you as well. And that will be a mechanic that comes up later. It's also important to pay attention to what kind of orb they are. I believe those are lightning orbs. And there will be fire orbs later. We're going to keep killing things here. Enrage. A quick close boss-centered AoE. And we're going to have these circles, which is kind of interesting. A bunch of these donuts. And there we see the different, that fire orb there. It's going to tether onto somebody. You can see that there will be these pools of water that spawn around. And as you might expect, if you have fire and run into that, that'll help a little bit with that damage, but if you have one of those lightning orbs, that's not so good. So stay out of those if you have lightning. And you have some of these AoEs going through in lines across the floor. Just keep your eyes up, stay awake at the wheel, and just like that, we are down with Skilla. And we're going to move up these beautiful stairs. This is definitely one of those where I feel it's more of a raid that is more mechanistic in progressing the tier rather than actually being a very interesting raid in and of itself. I think you could also say the same for much later on at level 60. The, was it Fist of the Father, I believe, the first raid for Alexander. But that'll be a subject for another time. I will definitely touch on those, because I do enjoy those raids as well. For now, though, we've got another pack of boys up here. These Acherons are a little bit tougher, but they will go down pretty quick. And then we'll have a green dragon, who pops up out of nowhere. But it's alright, as you can see, you just burn these boys down. I very much recommend this raid if you are switching into a new class, or even just kind of like a horizontal, like if you're going from range to melee, or melee to range, or going into mage for the first time. This is a pretty low stress environment to be able to test those boundaries and feel out at the level 50 range, where now that we are well and truly past level 50 as the cap, to start to feel how the class develops and starts to come online. Gonna get some clones in here. Largely just trash. One thing I will say, help your raid out. You know, come back and kill those clones that pop up. The wall isn't gonna come down anyway until they're dead. Don't just stand up by the gate. Just so far as, you know, you can get the clear time down quicker. Especially if you do have people who have cutscenes. You know, this isn't the most enrapturing raid, so I would say, you know, as soon as you can clear this stuff and then get to interesting cutscenes, since these are required now, that is much more what you should be focused on. Now this bad boy, Glacia Labolas, is going to have these AoEs that pop up on the floor. We're going to follow the pattern of thought of thing on floor, thing bad. We're going to run away from anything like that. We're going to have this cone right here, kind of interesting, but not very intimidating, if I'm being honest with you. Now these clockwork right, if I can speak, which I may not, these guys will spawn. You can see they've got some stuff around them. They got a little shield. Not exactly good for for attacking, but that's okay because we can just burn the boss down at this point. It just gives him a little bit of a boost. So double check that you're not in anything that pops up on the floor, and we'll be good. Cool. Staircase drops down, and we go up it. I love the music for this raid. I will say that is one thing that really redeems it, in my opinion, when I have to run it nowadays. It's just epic, you know. It's very much that feeling of, oh yeah, this is a Final Fantasy game. This is kind of a high fantasy adventure, and it feels good. I'm gonna come in and fight these Diablo-looking guys while a dragon watches on, who is being very rude and launching fireballs from his elevated position. But we're gonna burn these Azair guys down, as he does a half room, which I eat. But it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, and now we get access to the red dragon himself. We're gonna give him some trouble here. You can see, I mean, we've got half on there already. So many dots, so many active skills coming out. These fights are not going to take very long at all. Let's see here, I get faked out. I forgot that there were some ads here, so make sure you check behind yourself to make sure stuff hasn't spawned in after the actual boss gets burned down. More of a mini-boss, really, I would say. Alright, now we go into this very regal-looking area. And I was actually mistaken. Amon is going to be the one with the raid-wide insta-kill that I mentioned a little bit earlier. This fancy-looking dude. He looks like a red mage, doesn't he? I quite like it. Is there a set that looks like his outfit? Because I literally would like to have that. At the very least, the plumed hat. I think that would look good on a red mage. Now, this fight is a little bit more interesting. These experimental byproducts will start to run at people. Start to come up so you can burn those guys down, if you so desire. Every now and then, let's see if someone gets hit by it. You can get turned into a toad around here. Let's see. No, maybe nobody will get hit this time. Maybe not. Dang, I was hoping to show you guys some toads. But oh well. It's alright. We've got some other ads here. And here's where our big move is going to come out at. You see these ice blocks? Just go ahead and position yourself behind them. Because eventually he will start casting a certain spell after, yep, curtain call, after he gets some text. And I'm actually being very bad and forgetting that it's that it's not very good to get hit by. Then I remember at the last second and make sure to come back. We'll just call it that I was greeting for some damage. Don't worry about it. We're gonna move back forward and finish him off. Really, the only thing you really have to watch out for is that big raid wide that you have to hide behind those ice pillars for. Or crystal pillars, I suppose they would be. We're gonna run up these steps. A lot of running up steps. Dude, the Warrior of Light must have some freaking awesome legs. You know what I'm saying? Like Chun-Li legs. To be doing all the kind of running around and climbing steps. Insanity. Like, I am no stranger to working out, but whew, even thinking about that makes me hurt. But we've got other things on our mind. I'm going to go ahead and get his Higanbana off since I'm playing Samurai on Zande. He's got a couple of interesting things about him. Better late than never, I suppose, but again, this is going to be a pretty quick fight. A bunch of AoEs on the ground, so dodge those. Definitely use your mitt, especially if those are overlapped. That can be pretty dangerous. See, these towers are going to go onto the ground with these orbs. Make sure there's a person in each one. And don't get hit by knuckle press. And you will be fine. Don't be afraid to get in them. They don't hurt that bad. And he will go up there, untargetably. And you'll have these Starfall circles. Go ahead and kill all of these as quickly as possible. These meteors will fall down, and those will hurt pretty good. We do not want that to happen, but these things, while they are tanky, once one or two fall, you can see the meteor there. Once they start to fall, one or two of them, they aren't too bad. Everybody will rotate to whichever is up and take them down. We're going to have a double stack up, which the easiest way, as you can see here, is just put both on top of each other. Everybody come together. Use your mitigation just in case. Ancient Karago will cast. And then you can get out, and then there will be a bunch of AoEs. Same spell, but a lot more of those AoEs will be on the ground than from the beginning of the fight. We'll do this aura cannon, which I believe, as you can see there, if you're a tank, you can run out of while he channels. Then we'll have another round of those meteors, those markers. Let's go ahead and break these. You can see on the left-hand side there, those go down pretty quick, and as people rotate around, it's not too bad. Go. Come back to the circle, wait for the big man himself. Here we are. Another stack up. Pretty standard stuff, which I am giving a little bit of a hard time, but I mean, this is your second 24-man ever at this point in Final Fantasy. Actual proper raid. So I suppose I can't give it too much, as well as the fact that it's not like you have a bunch of new players who've never seen this stuff before. There we go. That is the raid, ladies and gents. That was a short one. I guarantee you the next raid, World of Darkness, will be a little bit more interesting, and I very much look forward to seeing you guys there. I've got something a little bit more special planned for that. Until next time, guys, appreciate you being here. Look forward to the next time. Peace.